SeaChange International is a software company that enables transformative multi-screen TV services for video service providers globally. Their customers include many of the world's most powerful media brands, including all major cable operators in the Americas and Europe, and the largest telecom companies in the world. I'm Kelsey Hubbard, and I'm joined by SeaChange CEO Jay Samit for the Nasdaq CEO Signature Series. Jay, thanks for being here.
Morning.
Very exciting. Now, SeaChange focuses business, the television, working on any platform, helping business and the business of TV work on multiple platforms. Tell us a little bit more about your business and your interest in coming to SeaChange after a varied career.
So it's no longer your grandfather's television. It's not 3 stations that just are programmed to watch something at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever. Television today is a personalized experience. You might want it on your tablet, on your phone. It follows you in your life, and so we're the technology behind the scenes. We're the company that created the original video on demand, and now it's multi-screen. Some countries, the primary screen is not the TV set, it might be the mobile phone. In other places, you can have subscription packages and what's called over-the-top, not even going through cable, but going direct from the creator of the content to the consumer.
So what has this meant for businesses initially in the TV business? Obviously, it's a transformative change for a lot of these companies. How are you helping them make that change to all these different multi-channels?
So what's happened is for years, cables had a certain monopoly to play in, broadcasters had a certain monopoly in a sense, mobile companies, and they're all intersecting, and no one knows which models are going to work. We hear about cord cutting, and we hear about new bundles, HBO announcing that you can go direct and all of this. So we're working with these various creators and companies to figure out what is their strategy to thrive in the future.
I know that your company has gone from a shift from hardware to software. Talk about how that came about and where you are positioned today.
So what's really unique is it used to be to custom deliver ads or custom serve video and everything. There were servers and iron and a bunch of gear in the back room. Everything's now moved to the cloud. So we're taking that cloud technology, bringing it right down either to the cable box or to the phone or to the tablet, and allowing much more flexibility both for programmers, for advertisers, for targeting, and for the Internet of Things as that goes into people's homes.
And let's talk a little bit about OTT, which you mentioned. Is it changing TV's business model?
Absolutely. So if we saw some of your largest companies are no longer getting the size audience and share that they used to, how do you measure that? How do you measure when your viewers aren't all at the same time? Maybe they're watching it a week later on a tablet, maybe they're sharing it through social media. So it comes down to if you can't measure it, you can't get it paid for, and then you don't have a business model. So we're trying to look at not what was, but what can be to make all these businesses more successful.
And you have some technology, Rave, I know is one of them, is allowing you to sort of help monetize OTT for clients. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we're not only good at technology, we're great at naming products. So Rave is our over-the-top solution to allow us to partner with content owners, content creators, media companies to say, we already have all the gear to get you into the market. You focus on creating great content, and we'll help you figure out whether it's subscription, whether it's pay-per-view, whether it's a la carte, or whether it's ad-supported.
And I know another component of your business that you provide for customers is this analyzing of social media, which really, is, in terms of the long-standing business of TV and content, is a new phenomenon, and yet it's played such a huge role now on the content that gets made, gets delivered, and what's popular.
So when you think of your local station doing the evening news, what's the lead story? Who decides that? How do you know? It used to be that somebody's job to guess. Now, using natural language science, we can see in your zip codes, in your demographics, what are people talking about in real time, and feed that into creating news that is relevant. You can do that for an entertainment show, for a sports show, for any topic, and you are both reducing the cost of your thing and making it much more contextually relevant to your audience, therefore increasing your viewership and making you more revenue.
So you're basically harnessing what people are talking about in real time to allow these broadcasters and content providers to focus on that and give people essentially what they're asking for.
So our timeline technology was just used at the Oscars. In real time, as people were talking on social media about, I like this dress, I don't like that dress, the network was able to put up the actual scoring in real time before they even made it in the building.
Wow, that's amazing. So, so talk about how the smart home, how this technology is really going to go forward. I guess my question is, where is it going? Where is it going to change our lives? You see this happening.
So, as consumers, we have a micro-billing relationship with 2 types of companies today: our mobile company and our cable company from pay-per-view. And both of those are looking at other ways to make life better. So I have elderly parents with motion detectors. If they don't get out of bed in the morning, I'm notified and I can have somebody check on them. You might have a relative with a medical condition that wears some type of band and get notified grandma didn't take her medicine and call her. So all of these new things that will make our lives easier and more efficient will be connected to that home gateway, which we call Nucleus, which is one of the products that we put into cable boxes. And where it goes is up to the imagination of creators and innovators, and that's what's great about Nasdaq. Those are the companies that become the big companies of the future if they get it right.
Right, and I'm interested to talk to you a little bit about you. You've been with SeaChange just since October, so a relatively short time, but you have a very interesting and storied career in entrepreneurial ventures, a lot of leading social media companies, as well as leading music companies, Sony, EMI. So why did you choose SeaChange? What do you see in this company that falls into place with your past history of going to companies that are either disrupting industries or sort of on the leading edge of what's happening?
So 30 years ago, I started my career trying to take a computer and a TV and put them together. And it's finally now happened. They're indispensable and indistinguishable. And so when I was looking at all of this change, all of this disruption happening right now to everyone's business model, the cable guys, the broadcasters, people that own station groups, go down at content. Can you deficit finance content if there's no longer syndication, if there's no longer reruns, if there's no longer home video? And here was this one company that had the technology that powers everybody. So if there's going to be a major war for the future, I want to be selling bullets. And so that's why I came to SeaChange.
And really, because advertising has always been the bread and butter of a lot of these media companies, and that's getting so much more challenging to...
Advertising's broken. Yeah. We all know it.
Right.
So the DVR got people to start skipping it. If you're watching it on a different screen or 3 days later, or you're going to the website or getting it through Facebook feed, it's not being measured. So you have late night hosts, some of the most talented people on television. No one's watching them in late night, which means the network is making no money, yet creating great programming. So if you can't measure that audience, you can't figure out how to sell it to an advertiser, which means people won't be paying to make that content, and we all suffer. So SeaChange is going ahead and working, and we put together a joint venture with some of the largest media companies and broadcasters to come up with a new coin for measuring this called New Coin. And we'll be doing our first tests later this year in the Dallas market to prove a better measurement system so that great content can continue to be a business.
Yeah, it certainly changes the head. And you have a book coming out this summer, Disrupt You. So you're very much getting everyone out there to disrupt, and you're very involved with entrepreneurial endeavors. How critical is that to stay connected to that when you're in a big company, in the industry that you're in, these smaller upstarts that you've been championing?
I think every CEO has to stay on top of what's happening in the world. For me personally, my way of giving back is I've been very fortunate to start companies, have them go public, sell them years after years, and to thrive in an era of endless innovation is a challenge. And so Disrupt You is teaching people how to have their career disrupted, how to deal with it. Whether you choose to be disrupted or not, it's going to happen. So why not better understand the dynamics of what's changing the world and look at every disruption and every change as an opportunity as opposed to an obstacle.
And just in closing, what would you want investors to know if they come to the CEO Signature Series to learn more about SeaChange? What is the one key takeaway that you'd like them to really know?
The one key takeaway is the $170 billion just in the U.S. television market of pay TV and advertising is completely up for grabs. It's completely changed. We're at the center of that in the nexus. So we'll have the data as we do the billions of streams and see who's connecting with what and which models work to know what that future is. So we're a leading indicator of where to invest, not just in us, but in the entire sector.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Jay Samit, the CEO of SeaChange, here for the Nasdaq CEO Signature Series. I'm Kelsey Hubbard in New York.